Now, I would like to introduce my good friends to you. This little guy, he's called MJ. This little lady is called Bella. This little lady is Chloe, and this little lady is Willa. And they are going to help me read My Grandma Lives in Florida. So, my grandma lives in Florida, and that is where we go when Daddy says he cannot stand another inch of snow. Because Florida's the sunshine state, and that's what makes that state so great. The sun down there is big and bold, and round and warm and bright as gold. And right beneath that golden sun is Grandma's house. The yellow one, that's my house. Houses are lovely all over the nation, but under the sun is my favorite location. When we go inside, Grandma gives me a kiss. In fact, there's no place on my face that she will miss. I may wiggle and giggle and grumble and hiss, but only a grandma can kiss you like this. Then, after she hugs me with all her might, she looks me all over and laughs with delight. She squeezes my cheeks, and she ruffles my hair, and she tells me how happy she is that I'm here. It's a lot to put up with, but as you can see, I love my grandma, and my grandma loves me. She says that I grew, and I'm so handsome too. And I look very much like my dad used to do. And maybe that's true, but it strikes me as weird because I'm very small and I don't have a beard. She brings me a pear and an old teddy bear, and on the big box of crayons she keeps for me there. And then, while I color, she reads me some rhymes that she reads to me happily hundreds of times. After all, as you know, a word's only a word, and a word by itself disappears once it's heard. But you put that same word at the end of a rhyme, and my friends, it remains in our brains for all time. This morning we grab all the foods we can reach, and we pack ourselves off to a Florida beach. The sand all around us is gleaming and white, 'cause the sun overhead is so brilliantly white. It shines like a beam on the Florida ground, down the Atlantis Springs to Kissimmee and St. Cloud, till every shiver of coldness is gone, from Lake Okeechobee to Boca Raton, from Neptune Beach to Cocoa Beach, and West Palm Beach to Vero Beach. That sun warms each beach it can reach, and rest assured, it reaches each. It shines on every manatee, from Tampa Bay to Longport Key, and every bass and ballyhoo on the Baccarudas too. It shines on the gators that play in the bay, and the waiters that wait in the outdoor cafe. To tell you the truth, if weather was gray, I'm not sure the gators or waiters would stay. But the weather's not gray. No, it's not gray at all. This isn't New Jersey, New York, or St. Paul. This is Florida, baby. And there's only one. And when you're in Florida, you are in the sun. My grandma is wearing her big floppy hat, and her sunglasses aren't much smaller than that. And her robe is so fluffy she looks like a cat. And she wanders out and about, and She thinks it makes her look fat. No fatter than yesterday, Grandma, I say. You look just the same as you do every day. And that makes her laugh, which I find quite confusing. I can't always tell why she thinks I'm so amusing. But this is the thing that makes grandmothers grand. They love you for reasons you can't understand. My grandmother thinks I'm clever and cute. If I stand on my head, if I blow on a flute, if I say funny things, or I make funny faces, or if I sneak into ridiculous places, or play with my nose, or my toes, or my toys, or today when I made an unusual noise. Whatever I do, Grandma claps and she shrieks, and she tells all her neighbors about it for weeks. There are others who think I'm all right or okay, and a few who'd prefer that I just go away. But I'm the best thing in my grandmother's day. And they say that's the way things are likely to stay. I jump in the waves, and I'm having a ball. My grandma wades, in which she means hardly at all. She takes tiny steps holding on to my shoulder. I guess when you're older, the water is colder. After a while, we go for a walk, just my grandma and me, because we like to talk. She tells me the names of flowers and birds. She sings a few songs, and she knows all the words. She talks about life in the good old days and how the world was much different than how it is now. But even back then, they had beaches and sun, and it sounds like they found a few ways to have fun. It all seems quite strange as we walk by the sea that my grandma was once just as little as me. But growing, I guess, is just something we do. And I think before long, it could happen to you. She tells me a joke, and she gives me a hug. She points out a clam and a crab and a bug. I find her a shell. She smiles so wide that I think she has Florida sunshine inside. The next week or so, we are busy as bees, seeing all the sights that a sightseer sees. If you like seeing sights, I'm begging you, please. You must make your way down here and see some of these. With so many ways to have fun in the sun, you can run to each one and still never be done. The doing, the seeing, it's all very freeing. And sometimes the best fun is all is just being. So at times we just be, Grandma, Daddy, and me. We just be in the house, or we be by the sea. And I see as we be that we're happy together, and happy is easy in Florida weather. Now, some states are known for a bird or a plant. They can choose what they like. I'm not saying they can't, but down here in Florida, gators are king. And if you're fond of beasts, then a gator's the thing. A gator is great from the jaws to the gizzard. Why, only a wizard could make such a lizard. With sharp, pointy teeth and our tails and our scales, we're much cooler than woodchucks or llamas or snails. Some folks may like turtles or maybe a pheasant. And I'm sure a pheasant is perfectly pleasant. To be clear, I'm no pheasant hater. A pheasant is fine, but a gator is greater. Yes, a beast of our kind is uniquely designed. Take a look at the way all our teeth are aligned. And the claws on our paws are so perfectly shined that they may be the sharpest and shiniest you will find. Now, let's say you're seeing a cool souvenir to remind you of all the good times you had here. Well, whether you purchase a bag or a bonnet, you'll probably find that a gator is on it. Someday I'll move here for good. Wait and see, 'cause it's the best place for a gator to be. But the moment has come that the visit is done, and we must say farewell to the Florida sun. If you travel like I do, I think you will learn that while travel is nice, it's nice to return. So after I'm cuddled and kissed, we head back to our home and the things that we've missed. And though I'm no longer in Florida now, the great Sunshine State is still with me somehow, 'cause I have a picture of my grandma's face and the Florida gators all over the place. The end.